Packing it in a traveling world, have you ever tried to sell everything and do just that? Well, that's exactly what our first guests did.
So far, Lisa Chavis and Cheryl McDonald have traveled to 4 continents, 30 countries, and over 200 cities. Their goal is to write and volunteer around the world, sharing their stories and fun.
They have written a book. It's called What Boundaries? And they are living proof that it's never too late to live your dream. And here they are, the authors of What Boundaries, Lisa Chavis and Cheryl McDonald. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good to have you here.
Great idea, but it takes guts.
It does, it does. To do something like this and some of the other stories that we've just heard about, to make a decision to, in our case, sell everything, sell homes, sell cars, sell boats, all the toys that you accumulate over the years, and say, I'm ready to try something different.
Who was it that said, okay, let's do this? Who said it first?
I think it was me. For me, it was, I was at a point in my career where I had worked my way up a corporate ladder for 16 years and just found that I wasn't really in the place I wanted to be. I mean, that's the path you're supposed to follow. And so it was time to decide, do I continue on this path or do we try something different? So I thought I was ready to try something different, and I think I somehow was able to convince Lisa to follow the same path. Previously published author, so she was excited about the possibilities when it came to writing the book.
Right. When she first comes to you, Lisa, and says, hey, what do you think about this idea? What do you think? Were you nuts?
Sell everything and travel. It was a great idea. Well, you know, I've always wanted to travel. There's so much out there to see, and just being so excited about it. Cheryl was just hard to resist. It was, you know, this is something that we need to do.
There's a quote in the introduction in the book. It's from Helen Keller. It says, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. And it is so true. And you took that to heart and you said, okay, let's do it. So you sold everything and you hit the road. Did you have a plan?
You know, the one thing we knew is that we couldn't just be tourists the entire time. Our plan was for a 6-month trip and to just go from place to place, picking up the next brochure and trying to figure out what to do next, the next museum. We knew it wasn't really going to work. So we did some searching online, found some volunteer vacation opportunities, found a way that we would be able to volunteer while we were traveling to make it that much more interesting and to get immersed into the culture of the places that we were actually visiting.
Sure, and you get to meet like-minded people along the way, and then you usually have a place to stay too, right, when you're volunteering?
Yep, they give you a place to stay, and usually they all the food that you need, and
Stretches out your travel dollars a little bit.
And you saw many destinations, and you're not done yet, as you mentioned, but you saw Thailand, which is a wonderful, beautiful city.
Now, who's the photographer out of you two? Because these are amazing, amazing.
Well, we shared duties with that.
Beautiful.
We just, whoever happened to have the camera at the time, but we saw some amazing things. The floating market in Bangkok. We could spend a day just taking pictures there. It was so beautiful. Thailand, it started out just to be a 1-week time that we spent, and we ended up staying 3 months there.
Really?
It
Okay,
was just
you
beautiful.
went to the pyramids, something I've
Yes.
always wanted to see.
Yes.
Got to take a look at that. Was it just better than, bigger than you ever imagined?
It was. Egypt was a very interesting place. We had the opportunity, of course, to see the pyramids and all of the sites that you should see when you go to Egypt, and it was really exciting and just beyond words.
Let's take a look at South Africa. That must have been pretty incredible, too. Oh, what?
TV antenna?
Yeah. This is a bit of telemetry. What we did in South Africa, I talked about the volunteer opportunities, and we went with Global Vision International and did a volunteer for 10 weeks on a South African reserve where we were responsible for conservation management, reserve management, and the telemetry that you saw is how we would locate the animals. So we would go out each morning, locate the animals that were collared, and we would do predator and prey ratio studies.
Wow.
Really interesting things.
You must have learned so much.
Completely outside
and the
of
list
our
goes
realm.
on.
We have
about
another picture.
Maasai.
Let's take a
spending
the
time
Maasai
with the
people?
Maasai.
Oh my
And
goodness.
of course, you're making friends all along the way.
We did, and we were able to visit them and actually see the way that they lived. And as a part of that, we were able to, we asked them what they needed. And they needed school books and papers and pens. So we were able to set up a program when we got back home to get them school books and papers and pens and things. So we still feel like we're part of the, you know, their neighborhood and their
Wonderful.
area.
I want to see more pictures. Let's see. Oh, look.
Where was this?
This was in South Africa also. Part of our job was to take data on the different animals that were out there, and this is one of the cheetahs, and she actually had 3 babies while we were there. Her name was Inyaleti, and those eyes are just gorgeous.
Well, where do you go from here?
Yes.
You've written the book, What Boundaries? Live Your Dream. I know you've got you're on Facebook and Twitter and all that business. So what's next for you two?
Well, right now we're getting ready to launch a new website called What Boundaries Travel, where we want to focus on, everyone asks us, how do you do it? What did you do? What tips do you have? So we're spending a lot of time there, and we're going to start focusing on medical tourism. While we're in Thailand and Southeast Asia, we learned a lot about medical tourism, and think it's a real up-and-coming topic.
I think it's wonderful. What a great way to travel and do good at the same time.
Ladies, thank you very much. The book again is called What Boundaries? Live Your Dream. Lisa Chavis and Cheryl McDonald. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, coming up.